Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe, here as always with my co-host, Aaron Coe.
Howdy.
Today is Monday, October 18th. Bit of a rough weekend for the boys.
Again.
Yeah, again. Unfortunately, I feel like we're going to have a few more of these coming. Double L weekends. Hasn't happened a lot in the last 5-6 years, double L weekends, but...
No, I mean, both teams have been pretty good. There's been a lot of double W
wins. W, dubs. But unfortunately, obviously, UW taking the L to UCLA on Saturday, and then the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football. Not that I particularly expected either team to win this game, but the way they ended up, kind of like the last Seahawks game where if you would have told me that Geno Smith would come in, I would say we would have no chance against the Rams. But since it was close, it was more painful in the end.
Right.
Do you want to start with the Seahawks or the Steelers?
How do I?
The Seahawks are the.
Let's start. Let's start Seahawks.
Seahawks. Okay, yeah. So last night, it was really a tale of two halves. The first half was just utter dog shit. It was one of the worst halves of football that the Seahawks, like viewing-wise, that the Seahawks have played in 5-6 years probably. Just really ugly all around. The defense ugly is good for the defense typically, so, the defense did hold their own. They gave up kind of two late touchdowns in the first half there, but when you give up 23 total points... you can't ask for much more from this defense. So.
Yeah, they looked like a competent defense for the most part. There were a few things here and there. I don't know how you end up with. Najee Harris. I know he finished third in the Heisman voting on his own team last year. But you can't have. You can't have a scheme where Benson Mayowa is covering him.
Yeah,
like you just can't do that. But other than a few really irresponsible things like that, I thought they played better than they have.
Mm-hmm.
Still not enough pressure on the quarterback, but that better coverage. What did you think of Trey Brown?
Obviously he had that really big stick, hit stick to stop. I think it was Deontay Johnson. Force a punt there in overtime. To be honest, I didn't notice him a lot, which is great.
Yeah.
I'm excited to have another guy to be disappointed by. That's how I'm gonna frame it right now because I don't want to put high expectations on him. Especially a cornerback coming from fucking Oklahoma, wasn't it? Did he go to Oklahoma? Come on, man.
I loved what I saw out of him.
No, I did. I really, really loved what I saw out of him tonight, and it makes me very excited. But I don't want to get my hopes too high for a Seahawks cornerback at this current juncture.
The big question, when you start out injured, is he going to be one of those guys?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's, like Sidney Jones,
Yeah,
that was a fun game and a half, Sidney.
Yeah, I know. That was a bit of a freak accident, player got tackled into his head, but also Darryl Taylor is he flew back home with the team, which is pretty surprising to me. When you see a neck injury, especially on the football field, it's the scariest thing you can see. So
it is, and most of the time the guys end up fine. But I'll never forget Curtis Williams at UW, and there have been a few others that I've seen. Mike Utley, back in the day. There's a defensive lineman that ran into his. They both crashed and missed the quarterback and hit each other, and one of them never walked again. So there's enough examples where when you see someone and they were out there for a long time, I really felt like, wow, this one's real.
Yeah.
I kept looking for a thumbs up.
I know. Yeah.
I thought I saw some leg movement, early on, but then there was nothing.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I think this is one of those times.
They came in with an update, and it took them 5 minutes to finally get to the fact that he was moving his extremities. They're like, well, they took him in an ambulance to the hospital. Like, whoa, really?
Yeah, I
fucking, is he moving? Tell me if he's moving.
I thought they were gonna push him on the cart.
Yeah.
God, what the hell? Just like give us the information up front.
Yeah.
Sideline reporters.
God damn it.
Jesus Christ. But yeah, it sounds and who knows what his timetable is for playing. But. I'm just glad that the dude is, like gonna walk.
Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
When you see something like that, you're hoping for the best, which is him coming back and playing soon. But what you really want is just health for him.
Yeah. And he's been the one guy this year that has gotten some pressure.
Yeah.
Led the team. He had 4 coming in. I can't remember if he got another one last night or not. I know he was in the backfield a few times. But he's the one guy that we've seen in the backfield with some consistency, and then he goes out and we didn't get back there a whole lot much more after that. But yeah, I'm just mostly glad he's okay. Hope he can come back to the lineup soon.
Definitely. Another thing I was a little bit more impressed with than I have been in the past is the run game. And not necessarily like I'm way more impressed with it than I was, but it surprised me how well Alex Collins, and particularly, I mean, I guess Travis Homer only had 2 carries and 1 catch, but all 3 of those touches were very good touches from him. Like he was I think he made people miss on all 3 of those touches.
And we've joked that he's never broken a tackle and never made a move.
Yeah.
He just runs straight into the guy like Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
But he showed some elusiveness that we hadn't seen before. So
and it looked like real elusiveness. It wasn't like just people making bad tackle attempts. It was really good. And then Alex Collins, he just runs with. I love watching him run. He just has so much energy. Just everything he does is just so aggressive looking. Even the way his hair moves when he runs is aggressive looking. Like it's so fun to watch him run. 20 carries for 101 yards and a touchdown. I think
he has good. To me, he has good instincts. He's not the fastest guy, but he just seems to make the right moves for the most part.
Yeah, like he's the type. He's a guy that will have like some of the best 2-yard carries in the NFL because he'll just like get the ball and then without even thinking about it, just hit a spin move on a guy. I think like you said, his instincts are really good. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's honestly, like, this was just such a whatever game overall. Yeah. Like, I don't know what else to, like
I think, I wonder why they only ran the ball 5 times in the first half.
Yeah,
But sometimes that's just, like, you always hear those stats. Well, every time so-and-so gets 20 carries, they're 38-2.
Yeah.
Well, that's because you're making first downs.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even the run that's getting you those first downs. Mm-hmm. So you run the ball 5 times in the first half, but some of that's like if you can't convert third downs, you're not going to run very many plays.
Yeah.
So you're not, then you're
Yeah, how many plays did we even have in the first half?
I don't know. It was obviously there were a lot of, 3 and outs and 4 and outs, things like that. So if you don't run a lot of plays, you're also not going to run a lot of running plays.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Geno?
I mean, I feel like I got what I expected out of Geno, some decent throws, some dumb throws, nothing to really knock your socks off, and a big fumble at the end.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I expected from Geno. So, like I said, it didn't even really take the full 4 weeks, 5 weeks, whatever it's going to be. I said, like, the true Geno will come out. It'll take more than 2 drives at the end of a game. And I wouldn't say this is the worst of Geno. It still can get a lot worse.
Yeah.
But, that's what you saw is what you're going to get with Geno Smith tonight.
I think Geno is a really good backup. He could probably start for a few teams that have really bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just so funny. He looks good at the end of last game.
He could be in the mix on the Dolphins.
Yeah.
You know?
There are people all over the place. Like, I mean, people commenting on my Facebook, like trade Russ.
Really? Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
I guess I haven't been on Twitter enough.
Because he looked good for a couple drives.
Oh, for that. Yeah.
And, Russ his salary does hurt the team a little bit. I mean, there's no question.
It doesn't hurt the team more than his play helps the team.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
I mean, what you get with Geno, like, to compare it to baseball, when you have Geno, you're going to have to get a walk, a hit and run, and a timely base hit.
The Mariners.
Yeah. With Russ, you're gonna, he's gonna hit some dingers for you, right? And
Bronx Bombers.
Yeah. So you're gonna get some of those big plays. And with Geno, you're not gonna get those, and you're gonna get, not that Russ doesn't ever make mistakes, but you're gonna get some more mistakes. And that fumble at the end of the game, it's one of the most egregious fumbles I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's holding it out in front of him.
He's already crossing the line of scrimmage.
Like, dude, you either got to pull that into your chest or at least tuck it into one arm.
Or throw it out of bounds. Like, just don't.
Well, I didn't have a problem with running.
No, I didn't either.
Yeah.
But, like, he was crossing the line of scrimmage and still looking like he was about to throw.
Yeah.
So, like, if you wanted to, like, throw, like, get rid of it.
He looked like he was gonna run the option.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Like, dude, if you're gonna run. Like, tuck it and go.
Yeah.
Get what you can. And that was, so that's twice. And the previous game, I mean, I don't totally blame him for that. I know, Tyler Lockett fell down, got pushed down, whatever. Still, I don't think people are understanding that still wasn't going to be a good throw.
No, he floated it.
The safety was still there. I don't think the safety would have picked it, probably, but he certainly would have knocked it away.
He might have broken Tyler Lockett's spine.
Yeah, that was a hospital ball.
It was not good. It was probably the best outcome ended up happening from that play.
Yeah. So, but Geno did, Geno did enough to keep you in the game, and that's what you wanted. He gave us what I expected. So I don't have any huge criticisms of him. My only criticism is anyone out there who was like, "Oh yeah, we got Geno Smith. We don't need Russ anymore." Stop.
Yeah.
So enough of that. But yeah. The offensive line, looked good at times. Especially, I felt like they were pretty creative with some of the run plays and the blocking schemes that they had. So there were some signs of life here.
I will say, uncharacteristically bad performance from special teams.
Oh yeah. I posted on Facebook before a few hours before the game that Michael Dixon was the team MVP.
Yeah.
I jinxed his ass because he had a very key punt
that Ugo had 64. A great play on.
Yeah. Well, his first punt was good, and then fourth quarter, I think.
Oh yes, yeah.
He had a 65-yarder.
He bombed one, yeah.
So yeah, but he had a few in the middle that were like a
real
25-yarder.
The other punter had I didn't know this. Apparently, Harvin, the Pittsburgh punter. Apparently he's like a bomber, but he'll the broadcaster was like he'll hit some foul balls there though, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
So there were some bad punts on the other side too, but yeah, the one that really was a killer, and I don't even know if it led to points at all, but Michael Dixon checks one up, on the goal line, and then Ugo makes a great play, batting it back in bounds, and then Cody Barton just white guy just whoop, 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 just fucking Three Stooges kicks it into the end zone. Like,
I don't even know what he was trying to do.
I don't know. It was bad though. I still feel like he picked up the ball. I still feel like it should have been down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I felt like he possessed it.
He definitely did. Anyway.
It looked like the old receiver possession rule.
Yeah. Regardless.
Yeah.
It was rough.
TJ Watt is a nightmare.
Fuck. Yeah, that's what I was. That's what I was looking for. I was like, what? There was one big point I had. Yeah, TJ Watt's just he's a nightmare, man. He had 2 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss, and a whole lot of other disruptive plays. Yeah.
Yeah, but like we were talking last night, they need to have just a simple plays ruined stat.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys, like him and Aaron Donald, guys like that. It's not just the stats that they rack up. It's like a shot blocker in the NBA.
Yeah,
It ain't just the shots they block. It's the shots they ruin for you.
Rudy Gobert did not win 3 deep defensive player of the years off of blocking shots. There's like, I forgot what the stats called, but it's basically shots affected, changed. Yeah. Yeah. Like he, who's another one that's kind of getting there? Like he's not quite as overall dominant all the time, but like Vita Vea just will fucking ruin some plays for people.
Yeah.
He like knocked over 2 Patriots linemen and like he's just bull rushed both of them over. That was the first round pick from
Joe Tryon.
That was his first sack.
He has a hyphenated last name.
Joe,
now. I can't remember what it is. But
yeah, he does.
Yeah, Vita like knocked the whole offensive line over, and then Joe's like, "Oh, cool, I'll get the sack."
Untouched,
yeah. So Vita gets no stat for that. But
no, he doesn't.
Made the play,
but that's a play ruined. And yeah, even on the plays that he wasn't getting sacks, he was ruining either the play or an offensive lineman's life. Yeah.
Now they did take advantage of the thing with TJ Watt in the run game, a little boomer bust there. So you saw some plays in the backfield, but you also saw him getting blocked out of the play a few times, and they ran to that side quite a bit with Alex Collins.
They had a couple nice counters. One in particular where TJ Watt just like literally just overran it and slipped. But yeah, they had 5 sacks and 10 tackles for loss, which is pretty rough.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I didn't know it was 10 tackles for loss. Because there was a couple like screen plays that went nowhere too. There was, I think, 2 or 3 screen plays that went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
One of them being on like 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
Throwing it not behind not short of the sticks, short of the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 10.
I mean, there was some clear signs that we don't necessarily trust Geno to throw it down the field on 3rd and 13.
Well, there was the throw that went just skimmed Devin Bush's fingertips. Was that in overtime or at the end of the 4th quarter? I don't remember but to Tyler Lockett. Yeah. And that's the thing. That was a great throw by Geno.
Yeah.
If you ask him to make that throw 3 times, one of them's going to get picked and one of them's going to get knocked down.
Yeah.
So, overall, also, I really like the showing from DJ Dallas today, honestly. He didn't, he didn't really pop off, but he had a couple he had one really nice special teams play.
Right, yeah.
He actually had 3 tackles. I was going to say, I thought he was in the mix on a couple others too.
Yeah, he's been good especially on special teams. He's made quite a few tackles down there.
Yeah, and he 5 catches for 33 yards isn't like, it doesn't jump off the stat sheet, but he had some pretty those were big yards. He had some big yards. He didn't have a lot of yards, but he had big yards. Same thing with Travis Homer too. It was also, maybe that's because Alex Collins wasn't playing at the end of the game. Maybe that's why I feel like, they got big yards, but
he's banged up. I hope they get him back.
You sent me that tweet. What was it, like a quad or something?
Yeah, and you don't know. It's one of those mysterious, like glute, like, is it okay?
Oh yeah, glute and hip.
Is that going to get better or worse? We don't know.
Yeah, so and especially with Pete, we'll never ever know until he's playing.
Let's see. Jamal Adams.
Yeah. 2. I mean, he had one of them was a little bit tougher. It pretty much fell through his arms, but the ball was kind of up in the air, it was getting tipped. There's people flying in his face.
That one I didn't have a huge problem with. It would have been nice
if Jamal Adams wasn't wearing a visor. He could have caught that ball with his face mask and ran it back for a touchdown. It just laser beamed straight into his visor, and it just you know what? Maybe he's so bad at covering because he just doesn't know where to look ever. He doesn't know to look at the ball. He has no sense of when the ball is coming.
I mean, if you're at a gun range, that's the bullseye. That football hit the bullseye in the middle of the
Yes.
I think Jamal. When you're a defensive back, there are decisions, especially a safety. Okay, when do I try to pick something off, and when do I try to light the guy up and make him drop it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jamal, I think he was looking waiting for the guy to catch it so he could hit him.
Yeah.
That's what he does. That's why he has, 2 career picks?
Yeah.
But so I don't even think he thinks about intercepting the ball. And you need your safety to make plays like that. Mm-hmm. I mean, the great safeties in NFL history, they all have, I don't think we'll see 60, whatever the record is, Ed Reed and Ronnie Lott. Like, we're not going to see guys with 60 career interceptions because we don't see the crazy bombs, covered down the field as much as we used to.
It's harder to, like, get yourself in position as a defender now.
Yeah. But that being said, like, you you need those opportunities. I mean, those are game-changing plays.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look for those. And my God, when you gotta pick that off. I mean, we win the game, if he makes that play. So, they blitzed him more in this game. Although he didn't get a sack, I thought he was at least, somewhat disruptive at times. He was
disruptive, yeah.
And then we had better coverage on the back end, so it didn't feel as painful. So I don't know. I still, people talk about Russell Wilson's contract. That contract, I'm, oh my God, I'm really worried. I'd rather have a couple of good players than him. And then did you see I can't remember if you saw I'm the best in the nation.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Like,
I thought,
look at your PFF grade, dude.
Yeah. So here's the thing with that. If it's Trevon Diggs doing that, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
If it's Jamal Adams doing it, I'm like, buddy, stop.
Yeah.
You're not even like top 40 at doing the thing that your position normally does.
Yeah.
So like, cool it with that one maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. My first reaction was like, I laughed at it because it's funny and ridiculous. Yeah. But then I was like, come on, like, bro.
And it's a bad look when you have a ball hit you in the face.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
I've been best in the nation.
I've been watching football for, over 40 years. And I have never seen a ball hit a safety in the front of his face.
Yeah.
Have you, side, back, maybe. Obviously, linemen are going to take one in the face because they're up close. Yeah. I have never ever seen that happen. It's unbelievable. I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
To have your highest paid player at his position not come through and make a play when there's an opportunity handed to him like that.
Here's a question: will Jamal Adams at the end of his Seahawks career be a bottom 5 Seahawks jersey to own?
It seems like...
It's like right now, I think currently right now Earl Thomas is a little rough. I don't think it's one of the worst maybe.
No.
Brandon Browner would probably be the number one.
Of the worst. Yeah.
Percy Harvin's kind of rough.
Percy Harvin's really bad. Jimmy Graham is
Jimmy
a tough
Graham.
one.
Do you think by the end of his, however long he stays in Seattle, do you think he'll be one of the worst Seahawks jerseys to have?
Oh, boy. It kind of depends on how long he's here and how ugly it gets.
Yeah.
Is there a bitter exit?
So that's what I'm asking. Do you think, do you think if his play stays ugly, is it going to be possible for him to have a not ugly exit?
No, it's not.
Yes.
I think what would, if we have a coaching change in the next couple of years, that like he'll be gone. Like he'll, someone's going to come in and say, yeah, we're not going to keep paying that salary.
Yeah.
And then it's going to get ugly. But he's not, and let me just say this, he's not a terrible football player. Like he does have a lot of assets. But he's just not like, not to the level that he's been paid, not to the level of what we gave up to get him. So I don't know. I mean, we could bang on him every episode. And we probably, kind of broken record, but that play just highlighted a lot.
It was like, oh, come on!
Like, does Bradley McDougald catch that? Does start going through
Ryan Neal?
Yeah,
Like,
Like how many guys
Ugo.
catch that?
Like fucking. Or
at least it comes off their hands.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. Do you? I'm running out of things to talk about in this game because I feel like there just wasn't a ton of shit.
the other big one, there are a couple of little things that kind of go together. So, we had the Big Ben incomplete pass, then fumble. They actually changed the play.
Yeah, I forgot about the reviews. Yeah. Mike Tom. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
No, I thought that was you said they were going to overturn it. I will almost always say it stands because they don't overturn it. It
almost always stands. That's why.
And I definitely thought it was a fumble without question. He was bringing it back in, but his hand was going forward, and then it comes back a little bit, and I'm like, they're just going to not have the balls in Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
But they did, so credit to them.
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is we couldn't do anything with it. We end up, what did you think of that Damian Lewis holding penalty? I think that was on the very next play, wasn't it? They had 1st and 10.
Yeah. I'm trying to think.
We get a nice run.
Oh, god damn it.
And they showed it a few times on replay.
Yeah, here's the thing. Was that the one where he had him on the inside, but he was running away from him, right?
Yeah.
I think once the lineman, I think the rule is once the defensive lineman is trying to disengage from you and like trying to like go a different way, then you have to let go.
Yeah.
But if he's trying to get by you, it's legal. You can grab on the inside here. Right. So where he was grabbing was not illegal. It was just he held on for a little too long.
Yeah. So you see the jersey stretch a little bit, and so I think it's one of those where like that's probably holding. It's one of those where you're like, I mean,
fuck you though, fuck you.
Like why now?
Fuck you.
Like this happened probably 20 times in the game, and this is the one that we call. So it was. I'm not gonna say it was a bad call. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
Like like that's backbreaker. Mm-hmm. And then you end up. We had a couple times in the game where, so we all like to go for it. Not all of us, but when you're at the opponent's 40, you kind of want to go for it there. Mm-hmm. But the problem was it was like 4th and 13.
Yeah.
And then it's like with Geno, like, okay, probably just better punt here.
I genuinely like this. I sarcastically say like, oh, better let's just pin him deep, like you know. But like that's actually how I felt in that moment with
especially
Michael Dixon.
With the defense playing pretty well, but then Dixon, puts those in the end zone, so you only get 20. You only get a 20-yard net out of that, so that was a little rough. But yeah, I thought that sequence really was big, where you go from getting the ball back, it looks like you have a chance to at least get a field goal, and you come up empty there after the Big Ben fumble. So there were so many plays in this game for kind of a nothing game. There were so many plays where, man, that could have been the play, that could have been the play, that could have been the play. To come out of there with a win, which would have been big.
That's the nature of a close football game too, though. Every close game you watch or are part of or whatever. Any sporting event, you just think of like, even fucking like just pick up basketball. You're like, I bricked that like floater or whatever. So the other thing that was kind of odd were the 2 replays at the very end of whether they were a catch and a fumble. They were both very obviously catches, especially the DK one. Mike Tomlin was fuming that they were replaying that. And then he also, I guess he was laying into him after the game too in his presser. I did not watch that. But yeah, I don't get why he was that mad, because it did not change any of the outcome.
No.
We still got the spike off. The only thing that changed was we were kicking a field goal with 2 seconds left instead of 1, which makes no difference.
I would have been angry. Let's say, okay, so everything, they review it, but if they had put 1 or 2 seconds on and for whatever reason we don't get the spike down, I would have been furious with that, because we did get the spike down in live play.
Yeah.
And Russell Wilson came out and yelled at Swain. Mm-hmm. So DK catches a ball. He's going to get out of bounds. I think he decides I'm going to get 3 more yards and then get out of bounds, with some contact, which I liked, but the defense,
it got punched out so easily.
Oh yeah, he just punched that right out of there.
It reminded me so much of a play from last year. I think it was against the Ravens to pretty much end the game. He pretty much the same thing on the sideline. Goes and tries to hit someone. For some reason, he braces his whole body, except for he doesn't hang on to the ball tighter.
Yeah.
And do you remember that, or was it the Saints? It was the Saints at home. It was the Saints at home. He was like a screen pass on the sideline, and he comes out the exact same shit. So, yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
And then Swain, yeah.
Swain, luckily he jumps on it, and then. That's so funny. The broadcast was like, "Oh, he did a great job at getting up." Well, it's because Russell Wilson and everybody was screaming. Yeah. You got, get the, and he's like, "Oh shit!" You could see him like, "Oh," and he gets the ball and they get the snap down, and then they for some reason replay where I don't know what
he took. Probably 5 or 6 steps. He had DJ Dallas just caught it and turned and took 1 or 2. I think just pretty much caught it, turned, took a step, ball was out.
Yeah. Which,
by the way, that was bad too. He got so lucky on that ball bouncing right back to him. But so that one was it was obviously a catch, but it was a little bit, I understand that. DK made 5 or 6 football moves before he got punched out.
I don't know what they were doing. And then, so like you said, there was no change in the result. So I don't know why Tomlin was freaking out. I guess funny. He thought the only thing I can think is maybe Tomlin thought that Geno didn't get the spike down.
I think some of the players thought he didn't.
Well, because the stadium clock showed zeros. But the clock operator, they're going to be a second behind, you know. And so the refs would have corrected that anyway. Yeah. It wasn't that I wasn't ever worried about that.
I wasn't either. And it was also I love seeing just fuming Mike Tomlin.
Man, that was great.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's I think it's tough. They're 2-4. It looks really bad. There are a lot of things wrong. The thing though is they've been in the games. It's so they're a few plays away from having a better record. They don't look like a real contender. They might make the playoffs. They might find a way into the playoffs maybe. But even if they do, I just don't see, unless something gets a lot better real fast. Encouraging signs from their defense, but man, I don't know. I don't have this team isn't, as good as I thought it might be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with, Arizona just, tearing it up.
Yeah, it's tough to watch Arizona do that at this point. This specific point in time.
Yeah.
You got anything else? Do you want to do a little who we play? I don't even know who we play next week. Saints. I don't know, man.
I don't know what to make of that
such one. Both of those teams, just so volatile. Both of those teams on either side of the ball. So it's I don't know, man. If the Saints and the Seahawks are both going to live and die by the Jameis. Whatever Jameis, Jameis will determine the outcome of this game. Jameis versus Geno, by the way, that's a real marquee matchup. The NFL loves to see between two of the best franchises in the last decade.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Two of the top 3 franchises in the last decade and it's Jameis versus Geno.
Oh man, brutal.
Last year it would have been Russ versus Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Fuck. So sad. Yeah. So I mean, do you got anything else for this week or next week?
No, it's just it's a bummer. I mean, yeah. That's it. It's
that's
just
it. Speaking of bummers,
oh god,
I could not attend or watch this game, so I'm just gonna kind of let you go. UCLA beat UW by 7. You look at the score. If you were keeping track with the score throughout the game, you think, hey, it's not a bad game, but apparently it was not fun to watch.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Somebody on my Facebook. So I posted the thing about the 2 MVPs of my favorite teams are the punters.
Yeah.
They're the only guys having really good seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said, what is who do you fire with both teams? And the Seahawks, I'm like, I'm not a fire Pete guy, but he's on probation.
Yeah.
Fire Ken Norton Jr. I'm not a fire the coordinator guy very often because I think everybody just does. That's who we blame.
It's just like I think I described it as an angry kid punching his wall.
Yeah.
Like that's what firing the coordinator is.
Because we don't know who else to blame.
Yeah.
We can't really fire the players.
Yeah.
So we blame the coordinator. But yeah, fire. I just think even in this game, again, how do you have a scheme where you have, and if you do have Mayoa covering Harris, call a fucking timeout.
Yeah.
Get out of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, with the Huskies, to me, there are so many reasons the Titanic is going down. Like you can blame the iceberg, but like
the captain was drunk.
Yeah, the engine is failing.
Yeah.
There were holes in the bottom before you hit the iceberg. Like it's and so when you look at that, I'm just sitting there watching this game going, okay, John Donovan should have never been hired.
Oh, definitely not.
Fire him.
Definitely not. He's going to be coaching in high school soon.
Yeah. The defensive coordinator, the defense has been bad. I think what's frustrating is they had a bye week and I still saw the same scheme with with two defensive linemen, a bunch of linebackers, and they're playing nickel with the safety playing 20 yards back and they're getting gashed. The safeties can't make plays. I'm seeing the same thing.
So I think I asked this question a week or two ago, and I'm going to check in with you again.
Yeah.
Do you think Jimmy Lake, kind of like as a head coach, you're spread thin,
Yeah.
Do you think the fact that he's spread thin is the reason that this defense is bad? Or do you think he gave over some control to the coordinator and that's what's going on? Or do you think this is like a Jimmy Lake defense problem?
I think, even when the Huskies were really good on defense, they did struggle against big physical teams that could run the ball, and they dominated, pass happy attacks, and that hasn't changed. It's just gotten more egregious. Yeah. Bob Gregory is the defensive coordinator. He's been around for a long time. He was a pretty good defensive coordinator at Cal. He stepped down because he didn't want as much responsibility. Which that's not a good sign, so he doesn't have the energy or the passion for it, So I'm looking at this dude right now, and I'm like, some of the players have been disappointing. The coordinators probably, the coaching staff isn't very good. You have essentially a first-year head coach with inexperienced coordinators, or, you don't have like a veteran really strong presence there to help him out. To me, it's a failing at every level. I'm like, fire the coordinators, fire Jimmy Lake. Oh. I want Jen Cohen gone.
Ooh, Jen Cohen?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because the other thing that's not happening is I'm not seeing any NIL stuff happening.
Oh, fuck. That's a very good point.
Like, I know that she can't directly.
Why are there no local, commercials on Root Sports,
Yeah.
There's no Husky
Seriously.
players. Yeah.
There should be emails going out.
Yeah.
Do you own a business?
Fuck, dude, we're going to get no recruits.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, shit.
No top recruits.
Shit.
Yeah. So she's not getting that done. And again, she can't directly broker those deals, but she can still, there's stuff that can be done behind the scenes.
That seems like it's mostly that's her job is to get it cooking at least. Yeah. Get the right people in the right place to get that moving.
Yeah.
So
and I there were a lot of things that I liked about her before. She played a big role in getting Coach Pete there.
She won that national the golf. Didn't she take over and the next day they won? Yeah.
They won a national championship. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I there are a lot of things I like about her, but she has to get way better at her job. And I just don't. To me, they're 2-4. They have been in every game except for one. But here's the thing: I saw no changes. I'm still seeing runs up the middle for the most part. The quarterback, like why not put in
O'Brien,
Connor,
yeah.
Give him a series in the second quarter. I was telling you the other day, like Don James used to do that. In not just bullshit games, like meaningful games, he would put it, like, give him a series, just to get him some experience. But when your starter's struggling, why not give, or Heward, or if you want to make that move too.
Yeah.
With Heward, to me, it's more like, if we put him in, are we going to ruin him? If the answer is yes, then don't put him in.
Yeah.
But why not? You have a very experienced starter.
Yeah. Why
not see what he can do in there? Because Dylan Morris looks terrible. His throwing motion is flawed. He leads the conference in interceptions. He's not really doing anything right. He can't run.
Yeah.
He's not a runner. He's 6 feet tall, so his passes are getting back down. Plus, he has a low release.
Yeah.
He had a couple great opportunities on deep balls where McMillan beat his man by a few strides. He underthrows those. Gets lucky with a PI in one instance, gets picked off on another. It was a poorly placed and underthrown ball. He's not doing anything right.
Yeah. And also another point you mentioned, which I agreed with, was like, to be like we've had 2 grad transfers very recently come here, and it looks like they're getting jack shit from it.
Yeah.
From coming here. So not only do we have no NIL based recruits or whatever, however you want to phrase that, but we're not going to get grad transfers either. If you're
not even going to get an opportunity,
an audition when the guy that's playing ahead of him does not really deserve to have this much of a leash.
No,
I don't understand. Like, what have you seen from Dylan Morris to justify him getting this much of a leash?
Nothing. He made some plays last season in 4 games.
Even then, like, that's still, he made some plays in 4 games, but no one was leaving that season like, oh, Dylan Morris has earned this starting spot, and even if he goes into next year and isn't doing great, like, we just got to ride with our guy. We got to stick with him. He'll figure it. Like, no one had that much confidence in Dylan Morris, right?
No, and he looked good in camp, and I heard all these great things. I was optimistic about it, but the minute you score double digits fucking points against Montana at home,
you can't put up more than a tutty.
Like, right there, you got to be thinking, okay,
dude, that's a benchable offense.
Yeah,
like that alone is a benchable offense. And again, also, I feel like that's probably maybe more John Donovan. I don't really know.
And Jimmy Lake,
but yeah,
that's a mark on losing to Montana is a mark on Jimmy Lake that, like, okay, if they were 5-1 right now, or even 4-2, even if they lost at Michigan and won the rest of their games, okay, maybe but it's still there. Like, I will never forget that. On my deathbed, I will remember that, that we lost to Montana.
That's that's like number 3 USC losing to UW, who just came off a 1-15 streak of games. Like, remember UW went 0-12, then they lost the first 3, beat fucking Idaho. So they were 0-15, beat Idaho, and then they upset number 3 USC. That's what that felt like to me.
Yeah.
But on the other side.
But you know what? The difference is, like, Montana doesn't have one player that UW wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
Not one.
Yeah, we had Jake Locker.
Yeah.
That's at the very least, we had Jake Locker.
So it's even worse than that.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways.
That's true.
But yeah, I again, they've been in a lot of these games. Had they found a way to win 2 of them, we probably wouldn't feel quite as bad. But they didn't.
They didn't.
And it's the same damn thing every week. And some of it is scheme. It's not just talent.
It can't be.
Yeah. So I don't know,
because we're not that. We don't have. There's not a talent gap between our defensive players and, like, UCLA's offense. Like, we should,
And I want to say again, like, I'm not a fire the coach guy.
No, you're really not.
When Willingham, before the 0-12 season, everybody wanted him gone. I'm like, well, he got a few good recruits. Let's give him one more year. It's just one of my worst takes of all time.
Yeah.
Jimmy Lake, I was so excited about him. I thought I felt like he had everything you need in a head coach.
The only reason I'm not quite there yet is I think back to how excited I was, and I'm like, there's a reason I was that excited. So maybe give him another one. Maybe.
I mean, if they, hey,
give him another one with some new coordinators, like.
Yeah, if they start, if they get to a bowl game now, okay.
God damn it! Oh,
that's where we are, dude.
Oh God! Yeah. Oh, I can't believe.
Yeah,
that's such a painful thing to hear.
We have to go 4-2 to get to a bowl game. Fuck! And where are the 4 wins based on what we've seen?
We have Oregon. Who do we have left? Oregon.
So Arizona,
USC.
No, if they lose to Arizona is one of the worst teams in the country. If they lose to Arizona, then everybody needs the house cleaning needs to happen.
Yes.
Now.
Jimmy Lake.
Fucking tarmac.
I was gonna say Jimmy Lake should not be wearing make him give back everything that's purple before he gets on the plane.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take him to Walmart. get him a new outfit.
Yeah.
Get his key card.
Yeah.
Put him on a hell. Give him an little Urban Meyer. Send him to a bar.
Yeah.
Buy him another plane ticket.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's a must win, obviously. So then you got to go 3-2. I mean, God, maybe what they need to do. So the Cougars have won 3 straight, right? I think they're, what are they, 3-2, or I don't know what their record is. But they've looked a lot better. I think it's because Rolovich. He's not Rolovich. This is the funny thing. Rolovich has won 3 straight. He might be the guy that gets fired. He could get fired as soon as today.
Yeah.
I've heard that decision could be made today. Maybe he has to wear the mask because he's not vaccinated, right? Maybe because nobody can understand what he's saying. Maybe if they gave Jimmy a mask, and nobody can understand
just let him go play.
And the players would be like, okay, let's just go do this.
Let's play defense.
Yeah, maybe that's what they need.
That's true.
Put a mask on him.
Yeah. Man, do you think the Cougars winning games? Is that fuck this guy? Let's go try to get drafted. So let's go play our best. Let's go try to fuck up the Pac-12. But fuck this, because there's 2 ways you can go when a coach is a disgrace.
Yeah.
You can just be like, fuck this shit, whatever. It's easier to do that in college, I think. Just be like, fuck this, whatever, dude. But when the NFL, you're actually trying to get your next contract and stuff.
Yeah.
But the other way it can go is the way I think it might be going for the Jags is you know what, dude? I got a family to feed. Let's do this for each other as a team and for ourselves, for our families. Fuck this coach. Let's still play hard.
Yeah.
Not for him. He'll get fired anyway.
And a lot of times it's just that. It's the team leaders. Mm-hmm. Very underrated part of athletics is who emerges as team leaders.
Yeah.
The coaches can only do so much.
Yeah.
Even in Little League.
Yeah.
The coach, but it takes players, to step up at every level of sport. So I don't know. And here's the thing, a lot of players still don't really want to get vaccinated. Mm-hmm. Most of them are doing it somewhat reluctantly, though.
Yeah.
Because, they lose a lot of freedoms if they don't have it. So some of them probably are don't have a problem with his stance and even support it. And they are one of the lower vaccinated teams in Power 5.
That makes sense.
So he probably has some support there. So there's
fair enough.
I don't know. But yeah. So anyway, the whole point with that tangent was, that's not a gimme.
That's not a gimme.
Beating Wazoo's not a gimme
it's
it has
absolutely
been.
Not a gimme. Fuck, dude. We can't. Okay. we can't not make a bowl game and lose to Wazoo.
Yeah.
That will. Dude, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, Ian Furness said on Twitter that this has a Willingham. I forgot the name of the Wazoo coach then.
Price or
no, after him. It's not a very memorable name, but it has a feeling of just the 2 worst coaches.
Yeah.
program history. What was that guy's name? He was the Eastern Washington coach.
Oh yeah, I fucking. There's no way.
He's
no
disappeared.
way.
But
yes.
Yeah,
he's coaching high school as well.
It just has this feel where both teams are just a disaster for different reasons. So I don't know.
Oh boy. Well, that'll be.
But here's the weird thing with both the Huskies and the Seahawks is we've seen seasons from both of those teams where they just get laughed out of stadiums, and that really hasn't happened. UW a little bit at Michigan, but they were in that game for at least 3 quarters.
Yeah,
it was a doable thing.
Yeah,
they haven't been just completely boat raced or anything.
Like the second half against the Vikings was really bad, but not the full. Like it wasn't a full just demolishing. You know.
So so there's a little bit of room for some optimism that maybe these teams can turn it around.
Yeah. When was the last time the Huskies and the Seahawks have been 2-4 or worse?
I think it's funny.
Willingham here.
In my lifetime, both teams haven't been bad, like really bad
at the same
time very often.
Do you think this is like both of them being 2-4? Do you think this is the worst?
No, I think 08, that was the
Seahawks. Oh, because Mora was there.
That was Mora and
that was post
Willingham. That was the worst year. But it's so funny if you go back, in the early 90s, the Huskies were dominant. Obviously, the Seahawks, that was their low point.
Yeah,
they went 2-14 one year and all that. And then in the late 90s, where UW starts to go downhill, Holmgren comes in, and we're going to a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl threat for several of those years. Seahawk so it was just that 08 where they both hit that low point.
But then they both from then they both skyrocketed pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
And now they're both just fizzling out.
Yeah, so this is bad. We're not used to.
No,
we're used to having one reason to be happy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Kraken came in at the perfect fucking time. I'll tell you that much. Yeah. So, what? I mean, do you got other? The main vibe I got from you was couldn't run the ball, couldn't stop the run.
Yeah, it's the same. It's been the same thing every game.
Same shit.
And I see no changes. I haven't seen anything to counteract it.
Yeah.
And then when they do something that kind of works, then they don't do it again.
Right. Yeah.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. So I mean, do you got anything else from this game? I have pretty much nothing because Yeah,
there's not a lot to say. I mean, go back and listen to our last few podcasts. It's
same
thing.
Same shit.
And that's why I'm, as much as I hate to say it, I'm on the,
You're on the fire the staff coach train.
I don't know if I would do it today.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do it today, but I better see something different in Arizona,
Yeah.
And bad things seem to happen to the Huskies down in Arizona.
That's actually a good point,
They've really struggled
That's a very good point.
They've either barely won, and then they had long losing streaks in the desert to both of ASU and Arizona. I'm not confident in this either.
Do you think? Because I'm not gonna call losing to Montana a low point because that just seemed like a crazy ass fluke at the time, and it was realistically. Like if we played them again now, we'd probably manhandle them. But
I would think so.
Yeah, I would hope so. Yeah. Do you think losing to Arizona would be the biggest low point since Willingham, or like?
Yeah, I do. Because and part of it is it's already a sinking ship, and that would be like the final torpedo.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, honestly, I don't know. Like, Arizona might be like -3 against Montana. Like, I don't like. You know what I mean? Like, they're really bad.
They're so bad.
Yeah. Anyway, who do we got? Yeah, and then we got at Stanford after that, then Oregon, then ASU.
Yeah, I mean that feels like an obvious 0-3. Like unless something changes, but if they play the way they've been playing, they can't win any of those games.
No.
At Stanford, we have trouble with when we're good.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, at Stanford's tough for us too, even though they have like the worst home field advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, you got any last points?
No,
sadness.
You know, like I'm not suicidal, but I'm football suicidal.
Yes.
You know,
there's like I've lost football hope. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a fan. I will always be a fan.
Of course, I'm gonna watch all the games for the most part.
But there's a moment where you're like, why do I watch this?
Yeah.
Why do I do this to myself?
Yeah.
You know, I have problems. You know.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I've contemplated football suicide. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll give me a reason to football live. We'll see. Ugh.
Oh man. All right. Well, like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube shit. Follow us on Twitter at Mason Charles Coe, at Aaron Coe 29. Have a great week. Go Hawks. Go Dogs.
Please.
Go Kraken.
Yeah. Go Kraken.
Go Kraken. Also, wait. Does the NBA start today?
I don't even know.
Hold on.
Well, NBA starts on Christmas.
Hold. Yeah, NBA really. But, well, does it start on Christmas when the Seahawks and the Huskies are this dog shit?
Yeah,
I think it might start when it starts now.
Maybe.
Hold on. Please hold. I mean, you can leave if you want, but I'm just going to check. Let's see. Scores. Come on. Is this the preseason? No. Holy shit. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. On TNT, Nets Bucks. And then we also got at 7 p.m. on TNT, Warriors Lakers.
Wow.
So, yeah, 2 very good games. I think I will be watching those tomorrow, especially it's on Tuesday. I mean, no football, you know. I might be switching back and forth between Nets and the Kraken game. But, yeah, anyway, bye-bye.
Fuck Howard Schultz.
Fuck Howard Schultz. Bye.